is picked off by Eric Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
CrockTalk TV podcast. Peace. Welcome to another episode of CrockTalk TV. I am your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And on today's episode, we are having a conversation that we never wanted to have. Jalen Hurd, Jaquiski Tartt on the hot seat. All right, but before we get into that, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. I need one of those things that has like the little animations where it pops up and it shows you like click it or whatever. But make sure you click subscribe right now. Click the like button right now. All that good stuff. All right, share it. All the good stuff. You know, everything y'all need to do. You have what I'm saying? And obviously, this show is powered and sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy, make sure you guys, if you haven't already, download the app or go to underdogfantasy.com, promo code Crocky. You know what I'm saying? Get you an additional $25 when you use promo code Crocky. All kind of fun stuff, especially with football season coming up. You want to get into fantasy football. They got fantasy baseball, basketball, all that other stuff. But, you know, I know football, that's the big one. So fantasy football, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Make sure if you sign up, use promo code Crocky. They got wagers you can do, all kind of little different bets, prop bets, pick'ems. It's really an amazing app. So download the app, Underdog Fantasy, or go to underdogfantasy.com. Use promo code Crocky and do that right now. All you got to do is put $10 in. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, we're not here for that. We are here to talk about Jalen Hurd, Jaquiski Tartt. Who do y'all want to start with? I really think this is the conversation that nobody ever really wanted to have. I'm gonna start with. Let's start with Jaquiski Tartt. All right, Tartt. He has this the way people view him. It's like this guy that just like kind of can't get right. And you know what the tough thing is with Jaquiski Tartt? He is a very good football player. Tartt is a terrific football player. He's way more versatile than he gets credit for. They put a lot on him in the sense of like assignments. He can play single high, deep. We saw him get that interception against the Panthers. Now I know that was several years ago. The 49ers safeties just haven't gotten a lot of interceptions regardless. I think some of it might have to do with the scheme. But you saw the ability to be able to play single high. And really in that year, I mean, he was cooking at safety. He was cooking. And I think he graded out as like a top 5 safety in the league. Like it wasn't just a one-off with the game against the Panthers or whatever. Like he played extremely well. He could play in the box. He could play in the flats. He can guard backs and tight ends out the backfield, whatever. Like Tartt is a versatile, really good football player. That ain't the issue. I think we all know what the issue is, right? We all know what the issue is. The issue is he can't stay healthy. And as long as Tartt can't stay healthy, then you're going to continue to have these type of issues, you know? And it's not an ability thing. And I think, you know, when I get into Hurd, we'll probably have the same conversation, but it's not an ability thing with Jaquiski Tartt. It's a availability. And I think we all know the saying, your best ability is availability. Or availability is the best ability. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, so that's what we're missing with Tartt right now. It's not a lack of ability. I don't think there's anything on the football field that Tartt can't do. I think he covers extremely well. The best ability is available. Thank you, Not a Game Podcast. I think Tartt covers very well. I mean, really good tackler out the backfield. He's very sound. I remember watching this film one time and being like, man, it's kind of boring. But his film is only boring because he always does what he's supposed to do. Really good football player. But he hasn't been able to be available. So then you have Coach Kyle Shanahan talking about Tartt live. And he's like, I mean, just his tone. It was like he was like disgusted. I'm like, damn, like Coach Shanahan is not happy. And you have Tartt, he obviously just got off the COVID list, so he's able to join the team now. But then I think he has, a toe injury? It doesn't even matter what the injury is because the issue is that he's always injured, right? Like, he missed a lot of last game. I mean, I would have to look. Maybe I can bring it up right now to see how many times Jaquiski Tartt has played a full season, right? So I'm typing in there right now, Jaquiski Tartt. There we go. And if I had to guess off the top of my head, and he's been with the 49ers since 2015, 2015, and I'd say he played 2 full seasons. That's what I'm guessing. And when I say full season, I mean, full 16 games. All right, let's see. 1. Jaquiski Tartt has played, no, 2. Well, I don't know if it's 2, but his 2015 his rookie year, 2016 his second year. He played 15 games in both of those seasons. He wasn't the full-time starter. He started 8 games his rookie year, 6 games in the second year. There's in each of those games, he didn't finish the season, or he didn't play all 16 games. I don't know if that was due to injury or if he just didn't suit up in that game. I'm assuming he just didn't suit up because I think and was injured. So Tartt has never given you a full 16 games. That is crazy. And that's in 6 seasons. 6 seasons, no full 16 games. And it's even more unfortunate because of the good football player that he is. Tartt is a terrific football player. But as the numbers say, never has played a full 16 games. And not only that, he's only played more than 9 games 3 times in 6 seasons. That is crazy. As you can see, I'm kind of shocked to see that, but it's tough, man, because he is a guy that's a terrific football player, terrific football player. But like we said, let me go back and get the pull up the where's it at? Right here. The best ability is availability, and Tartt just in that sense isn't available enough. And then you look at it right now; he's coming into the season right now, into training camp, and he's already hurt. Then you have a guy like Wilson, who is a veteran, and I don't know if they planned on Wilson having this big of a role, or if they brought in Wilson to just be like kind of maybe a veteran backup, maybe camp body. I don't think camp body, but just maybe a veteran backup. Whatever they brought him in to be, it ain't that. He's got to be the starter. And the reason why he's got to be the starter is because you don't have Tartt out there. Now, I was just on 95.7 The Game the other day, and we were talking about the secondary, and they were asking me about maybe some issues that might occur with the secondary and what's kind of going on. And I was telling them the secondary is viewed as the weak spot of the team, but it's not weak. The issue is, can you get a healthy season out of them? And when I say healthy, I mean just relatively healthy. Can you just not be missing everybody, right? Can you not be missing, Richard Sherman or Kelly Witherspoon, Emmanuel Mosley? And I know I'm talking about guys in previous years, but this year, if you told me that Ward, Tartt, Verrett, Williams, and Mosley play all 16 games, I think that's one of the better secondaries in the league. I'd say that's a top 7 secondary in the NFL for sure. Those are all good football players. Verrett definitely on the way up. You got Ward up. If all 5 of those guys played every game, great. Now, let's say they don't all play. But say if you have maybe 2 of the guys that just missed time, I think you're still doing really good. The issue is the 49ers don't just have 2 guys that miss time. They have multiple times. And so far, as we see when we look at the numbers, it's been Tartt a good amount of time. All right, so that's the issue, right, with Tartt. The best ability is availability, and that's been where Tartt is lacking. And then when you look into what Kyle Shanahan said, he's not too thrilled about that, and he seemed very upset. And I was just like, damn, he's a little agitated, right? And we're going to get to Jalen Hurd. We're going to get to Hurd. But we're just on Tartt right now because, again, I want to reiterate, terrific talent, really good football player. Has never played 16 games in the season in 6 years. Has only played more than 9 games 3 times. That's kind of mind-blowing to me, especially for a guy that is such a good football player. In the 1 year, I want to say it was 2000, pull up his stats again. Was it 2017? Dang, he only played 9 games 2017. But I think in those 9 games, I think that was the year he was one of the top 5 safeties in the league as far as grades go. So Tartt, man, we want you on the field. We think you're terrific. We think you're a really good football player. At least I do. But golly, can you stay on the field? And maybe it's not his fault. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the way he's training. Maybe it's the way he's not training. Maybe it's the way he's not preparing his body. So whatever it is, you would think that he would switch something up to maybe prevent some of these injuries from happening if possible. But until he does, you're going to keep dealing with these same inconsistencies because that's what history has shown you. I guess he is who he is. That's tough. But anyways, again, if you're not already, got over 100 people in here. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Please hit that subscribe button right now. Hit that like button. I got over 110. I've seen up to 140 people in here. And if that's the case, I'm going to need 140 likes on this video. All right. I guess it helps with the algorithms. I don't even know why, but I see other people say that stuff. They'd be like the video, subscribe. So I'm going to say it too. Subscribe, like, help me get to 5,000. I'm close to 5,000 subscribers. All right. Got some big things for this YouTube channel coming up. You guys are going to really enjoy. All right. But aside from that, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And if you're not already, make sure you guys download Underdog Fantasy app. Underdog Fantasy app right now. When you deposit $10, use promo code Crocky. It's gonna help me. I'm telling you, they got all kind of cool stuff, man. They got props, they got pick'ems. Obviously, they got fantasy football, basketball, baseball, all that good stuff. And they got these really cool like pick'em things to where you can just choose in one game who do you think is gonna do better. Do you think it's gonna be the Raheem Mostert or Sanders from the Eagles? Like, who's going to do better in that game? Who's going to run for more yards? And you just pick who you want. There's kind of like a plus minus on one of the guys depending on who they feel like is going to be the guy. But all kind of cool stuff. Who's going to throw for more yards in that game? Who's going to have more receiving yards in that game? Like, all kind of cool prop bets that they got. So make sure if you're not already, download Underdog Fantasy app. And yeah, man, promo code Crocky. I'll get to some of your guys' questions, and obviously we'll get to Jalen Hurd and kind of the unfortunate situation with him. But again, I appreciate everybody that's in here right now. I got all my folks rocking with me. What's happening? We got Brian. Where did I see that? I see Brian. Yep, I see a lot of y'all. Best ability is availability. If you are on Periscope, you're watching on YouTube right now, man. Forget YouTube. Head over to you. I mean, if you're watching on Periscope, head over to YouTube right now. And hit that like button, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's go. I appreciate all y'all, all the love in here. That's what's up. All right. Before we get into Jalen Hurd, I'll answer some of these questions. Here we go. What about Elijah Mitchell for punt return, kick return? Ain't he fast? What do you think, Croc? I think some people just think, because you're fast, you can get back there and return punts, but that ain't the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, one, it takes a certain level of cojones, you know what I'm saying? You gotta, because you're back there, you're looking up at the ball and you got guys running full speed at you. So you have to simultaneously catch the ball and probably make a guy miss almost immediately and then kind of see the vision of the field and how you want to take it. So, running backs, not saying that he wouldn't be good at returning. We're talking about Elijah Mitchell here. He might be a great punt returner, but he's going to have to be able to see the field in a different way than he does as a running back. All right, so I think that is somebody maybe you can get back there. Like, how elusive is he in space? He seemed more like a one cut back, right? Like a guy that just kind of boom, puts his foot in the ground, gets vertical. How shifty is he? How elusive is he? Maybe he's good at it. I wouldn't doubt it. But you can't just put somebody back there because they're fast. Like that's not what's gonna make a good returner. So Let's see. Look into some other questions here. Herb practicing today. This is good. But we still gonna get on his ass. All right. And this is why we're gonna get on Herd's ass. So got a guy. And again, I know it's tough. And we got White Out Wednesday tonight with my guy Jasper Rose. And Jasper Rose spoke to Jalen Hurd's dad. And my guy Jasper, the conversation he had with Hurd's dad was that of Hurd, he's been kind of feeling this and he needed kind of a clean slate. And that was part of the reason why he cut the dreads off. You know what I'm saying? He got the fade, tightened it up. You know what I'm saying? And I think he might hear some of the outside noise or he might feel the pressure. I mean, this is a guy who was a third round pick, taking maybe two picks behind DK Metcalf. And we see what he's doing. And obviously, they're different type of receivers and you never know. But taking after DK, 2 picks after DK, but taking in front of the receiver from Washington. Why can't I think of his name right now? Number 17. You guys know who I'm talking about. McLaurin. Terry McLaurin. So taking before Terry McLaurin, we see the success that he's having. So I remember my guy Jasper. Obviously, we have our show now, so we could talk about this whiteout stuff with y'all. But in the moment, 49ers drafted Deebo Samuel. He was upset. He wanted a big body receiver. I was like, dude, chill. The big body receiver's coming. Trust me. I see how this whole thing is laid out. The big body receiver's coming. He didn't believe me. Next thing you know, boom, they draft Jalen Hurd. Now, I see Jalen Hurd get drafted. I'm like, Jalen Hurd, the guy that was the running back? And I forgot that he had moved to receiver at Baylor. So I look at his film, and immediately I see why they like Jalen Hurd. There are not a lot of guys that are 6'5", 230 pounds that move the way that he does, that's able to sink his hips and get in and out of breaks and have the quick feet that he does and to change of direction like Jalen Hurd. It is special. And now his vertical speed might not be special. He's not somebody that's going to really just run and take the top off of a defense, but that intermediate change of direction, getting in and out of his breaks, being able to run routes. He ran routes like Dante Pettis. Like he was able to sink and get in and out and be kind of loose with it in that way, but with the finish like Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what you were kind of getting. So the excitement immediately I saw, and even my guy Rob Louder, he can attest to this. I immediately messaged Rob Louder. We didn't have strike and go yet, but I'm like, dude, have you watched Jalen Hurd? Like this stuff that he's doing is different. And I could see immediately why Kyle Shanahan really liked him. Had that nice change of direction, that elusiveness, that loosey hips, sinking the hips, the feet, the route running, like being able to run the blaze out the way he did. Setting guys up. It was terrific. And there were a lot of people that were saying that Jalen Hurd was this raw prospect coming out. And I'm like, raw prospect. But I'm watching him. I'm like, nah, this don't look like a raw prospect to me. Like, dude looks like a legit receiver. He really looks seasoned. I think the only thing raw about him playing receiver is that he only been doing it for 1 year. But in the sense of what I was seeing, I thought he was more polished as a receiver in his route running than guys that maybe have been playing receiver for the last 4, 5, 6 years, heading into the NFL. So I thought Jalen Hurd was terrific from that standpoint, and everything looked good. Now he comes to the NFL, and I think I was there for his rookie year training camp, and it was solid. You could see him coming along. I was there for the fights when him and some of the other guys were getting in fights. He had gotten like 2 kind of scuffles or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember if it was back-to-back days or if it was one day, then the next day. But I know I was there as a member, credentialed member of the media in his little skirmishes that he was getting into. And it was like, damn, this is a big physical guy. Are they going to throw him the ball, though? And eventually it went from them seeing the effort and, blocking and how physical he was and driving guys to the ground. And there's kind of a code with how you are supposed to practice or whatever, maybe keep each other safe or whatever the case is. He didn't care about none of that. And he just had that mentality of like, look, I don't care about you. This is my livelihood. I'm going to go out here and I'm just going to dog whoever is out in front of me. So you saw that immediately, and then they started working him in as a pass catcher, and you see it. I'm seeing them catching pass on the sideline, boom, boom, and he's doing terrific. And then run somebody over in the Cowboy game. I don't know if his back started hurting then. Obviously, we saw the terrific game that he had. Only 3 catches, but 2 touchdowns. We saw the fake. We saw the crosser. We saw the finish. We saw the screen pass, right? All terrific. Like, whoa, okay. Can't wait to see how they're going to continue to utilize him and how they're going to build on him, right? Like, so you saw the excitement. And then he was in the Broncos game. That was the next game, the next preseason game. He was there to start the game. And I remember seeing him run like a little whip route. And then after that, just didn't see him. And I'm thinking like, all right, like, is he not like why is he not continuing to play? Did he get hurt? And I didn't really see anything. And then next thing you know, he comes out and he's got a back injury. And I'm like, wow. Now, the way they made it sound like was they were either put him on PUP or the short IR or whatever. But it sounded like him and Trent Taylor like, oh, no, they'll both be back. Don't worry about it. Both guys will be back, and you'll get your Jalen Hurd back. And again, this is a guy that was going into a rookie year with Deebo Samuel. He was a 3rd-round pick. So you want to see a 3rd-round pick on the field. And you're waiting. And then they're talking about, oh, yeah, he's probably going to come back. Or, oh, no. And you're just kind of hearing different reports about Jalen Hurd. Then sure enough, he just never ended up playing, and they ended up putting him on IR for the rest of the year. And it's like, damn. But you know what? Year two, Jalen Hurt's gonna come back and he's gonna be ready. And whatever's going on with his back, that's gonna be situated. You know the backs can be a little dangerous, but you know what? He's gonna be fine. And can't wait to see this 6'5", 230-pound receiver just go out there and do his thing, because I know the type of ability that he has. I watched it. I watched the film from Baylor. I watched how he ran routes, sunk his hips, the elusiveness, in and out of his breaks, the quick feet. Rare for a guy his size. Again, maybe not the vertical speed, but everything else was terrific. But then, okay, you got the injury. And then heading into year two, boom, tear ACL. And he tore his ACL working out on the side. Like, they're trying to prepare him to come back for, year two and get him ready for training camp and probably bring him along slow. Okay, we're going to do everything to bring him along slow. Next thing you know, you see reports, Jalen Hurd's down, knee injury. What? He's not even practicing. Like, what? And next thing you know, boom, torn ACL, season gone, done. That's 2 years in a row before you can even play a legit game or really get going. Now, I have heard that there were people that were saying Jalen Hurd was the star of training camp his rookie year. I was at training camp. He was not the star of training camp. Did he do some things good? At least while I was there. And I probably went to about 7 training camp practices and was literally right there on the sideline as a credentialed member of the media. So I watched 7 practices, and I wouldn't say he was the star of camp, but I thought he was good. I thought he was legit. You see it coming along, but just the fact you haven't seen him in 2 years. So now it's year 3, and he's coming in here, and he's coming off of a torn ACL. And, I mean, I'm going into the season, and a lot of people are just like, nah, he's done. After last year, there were a lot of people, fans, now I'm speaking for the fans here and kind of talking to them. The fans saying he's done. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, man. I mean, torn ACL, you can come back from that. It's just unfortunate, and the 49ers have to continue to make moves. So obviously, last year they drafted Brandon Ayuk, and you head into this year, and a lot of people really wanted them to address the receiver position. I did too. I actually, if we did shadow draft, which if you guys don't listen to Locked On 49ers, which I'm pretty sure most of y'all do because our numbers are, I mean, thousands of listeners. But anyways, if you're not listening to Locked On, we kind of talked about these things, but you got Jalen Hurd, man, and he comes in, he's on the sideline. He's kind of getting reps. He's not getting reps. He's come back off a torn ACL. That's not something that takes forever to come back from, especially when you tear it in the previous preseason. So you got a whole year pretty much in between time. You expect the guy to come back and be ready to go, kind of hitting the ground running. Now, if he would have tore his ACL week 10, okay, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? Even Joe Burrow, he out there, a little weird right now. Jimmy Garoppolo, he tore his week 3 of the regular season. A little weird, right, when he came back. But, you tear yours in preseason. I mean, you got a full 6 months to where you're really getting going. Then another 9 months. Like, you got a full year down there. So you should be, kind of legit, right? Who tore their ACL? I just saw somebody. Sutton. Cortland Sutton tore his ACL last year. He out there on the field, moving, running routes, doing everything. So now you got to say, well, how was he taking his therapy or his rehab? Was he doing everything that he can do? I don't want to question those things, but you got, the other day, he didn't practice, wasn't feeling well, has kind of been hit and miss with practice so far. Again, got this message here from Mr. Mason here, Hurd practicing today, and that's great. What does it look like? What's he doing? Maybe he got the message from Kyle Shanahan, because I was listening to Kyle Shanahan, and the title of this is Hurd and Tartt on the hot seat. And it sounded like Hurd was on the hot seat. And he's just telling them, like, you're running out of time. You're running out of time. We have to be able to evaluate you. And if you're not out here, couldn't really see you, more than the Cowboys game rookie year. Didn't see you last year. Tore your ACL before anything could get going. And then now, this year, okay, we're trying to take it slow and work you in and everything. But, dude, I see Cortland Sutton over there. He running routes. He catching passes, doing all that coming off a torn ACL. And I don't want to compare their ACLs or whatever, but, if I'm a coach, I'm looking at it. But then I got guys that are stepping up, right? Debo doing his thing. Ayuk doing his thing. Sanu, solid vet, probably what they expect him to be. Trent Sherfield stepping up, taking advantage of the opportunity. All right, Jalen Hurd, you want to, okay, yeah, you go stay over there. Stay over there, Hurd. Stay over there. Trent Sherfield's like, man, catching passes left and right, downfield, looking, staring at dudes. Like, you got to take advantage of the opportunity. And right now, Hurd's not taking advantage of any opportunity. Matter of fact, it's going the opposite way. And again, if you kind of really look into what Kyle Shanahan was saying, it ain't good. It ain't good. So I'm interested to see, does Hurd play Saturday? That's going to be a big thing. Does he play Saturday? If he don't play Saturday, does he play next week? But sooner or later, bro, they're going to have to evaluate you. And if they don't, or have the chance to evaluate you, you are going to be out of here. Gone. And that sucks because, again, this is the conversation that I did not want to have. I don't want to have a conversation about Tartt. I think if you're here for the whole thing, I think Tartt is a terrific football player. I think he's hella good. But he hasn't had one full season yet. Hasn't had one season where he played 16 games. Not one. That's crazy. In 6 years. Hasn't had one. Great football player. Terrific. Hasn't played a full season. Jalen Hurd. I love that he brings a different dynamic to what the 49ers have. 6'5", 230, being able to move the way he does. I thought, like, man, can this be Mike Evans? You know what I'm saying? And not trying to put that on him, but, you know, you never know because he can't be on the field. So we'll see how the reports come out of practice today with Jalen Hurd. Do they get him active? Does he play this weekend? That's going to be a huge step forward. And if he plays, he ain't on a hot seat. Tartt still might be because I don't know this toe. Kyle Shanahan was like, well, I don't know when he's going to be back. Then he started talking about Hurd. I don't know. Y'all got to ask Hurd. I don't know. Say he wasn't feeling good. I don't know. You got to ask him. I think they on the hot seat, y'all. But anyways, I've been talking for a long time here. I went, 10 straight minutes. I ain't answering no questions. So I appreciate everybody in here. If you're not already, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Underdog Fantasy, underdogfantasy.com. When you deposit $10, use the promo code Crocky. Get you an additional $25 put into your account. Trust me, you won't regret it. All right. But I am here to take some questions and talk to y'all. So I got my 209 homie, right? Is he lazy? You know, that's a great question. And I don't really like to speculate on other guys' work ethics. You know, a lot of people did that with Dante Pettis, and it could be true. It could be, but I just don't know. There's some people that work, you know, got the cameras on everywhere, and they got the little videos, and, you know, look good, and, you know, and maybe they don't even work that hard, but it just looked like they worked hard for that day. I don't know. I know who does work hard. Kendrick Bourne. I mean, you can't fake that. It's every single day. There's just hella lines on his Instagram of him just working out. So Kendrick Bourne, that's real. Some people, I mean, I don't know. But Jalen Hurd, I don't know. And it's probably tough just rehabbing and always hurt and always trying to take care of your body, man. That's probably tough. I don't know. So is he lazy? I can't speak on that, man. I don't know him like that. Here we go. Sway. Man, I think he is scared. You know? And that could be like, you know, you step on the field last year, you working off on the sideline, you tear your ACL. I'm pretty sure coming back, like, especially like with injuries, sometimes it's not even just the injury itself. It's the mental hurdle. And fortunately for me, I never dealt with like any big time injuries. I had a high ankle sprain my last year ever playing. But aside from that, where I got this, you know what I'm saying, got the, whoa, y'all see it, championship ring right there, baby. But anyways, you know, I never had any big time injuries like other people. So I can't even really speak to the mental hurdle of coming back from that injury, but I'd assume that it's pretty tough. So I don't want to say that he's scared, but, you know, that definitely could be something that he's listening, listening to in his head. Croc is the best thing that happened to the Locked On Niners podcast. You know, man, hey, I won't say I'm the best thing because I do think that me and Peacock, we have a nice little balance, right? Like, you know, Peacock is very professional with what he does. I have to learn that aspect of it, but he's been doing it. It's structured. It's amazing the way that we're able to get in and get out of the podcast in, 35 minutes or so, and continue to put out content daily. And for as many people to listen to it as they do, I think that's awesome. And Peacock has done an amazing job to this point. And then, you know, I'm just helping to bring a different element, different aspect. And I'll really get to dig in my bag once the games come, start to evaluate players, and especially once draft season comes and start to kind of evaluate the 49ers roster, where they're at, and look at, maybe some needs and things like that. And I think that's where I shine the most. But Peacock has done a good job. Like, really, he's kind of been carrying us throughout the offseason, because that's not really like my strength, just to kind of make up things to talk about. Let's see. Hurd has an attitude problem. He doesn't hang with the wide receiver group. That added to his anger is not, or that added anger is not good for his body. That could be the case. I mean, and again, I don't know. I don't even want to speak on like who he is or what he is off the field, because I don't know. But, and I wouldn't even look at it maybe as an attitude problem. It could just be, hey, like, I just don't mess with y'all like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just do my own thing. I'm here. This is a job, because really at the end of the day, like, football is a job. Like, that is a job, and there's a business aspect to it. And these dudes are making a lot of money. So, yeah, like, you don't got to be buddy with everybody like Debo, like, or I don't got to be cool with y'all. Like, we play together. At the end of the day, like, I got to get paid. I got to do whatever I got to do. Now, is it cool to have that camaraderie? That's the thing I miss most about being in the locker room with my brothers, with my homies. We tight, go out after games, all that stuff. And I had an amazing time playing football. But maybe Hurd doesn't look at it like that. And maybe he's introvert or something. So I don't want to judge him or say that he has anger problems and that, he doesn't hang out with the other guys. As you can see, I like to give guys the benefit of the doubt, especially if I don't know them personally. And if I did know him personally, I probably just wouldn't say anything about it. If I did say, yeah, man, this dude be tripping, I just wouldn't say anything about it. Yeah, okay, so Peter King said he was a star. Maybe Peter King was at the practice I was at, and I thought, I remember there was one practice, it was like 2-minute drill. He caught like 4 or 5 passes or something like that in one drill, and in one period. And it was just like, damn, big ass dude looks good. So maybe that's what Peter King saw, because a lot of times he's there for one day, then he doesn't move in. 49ers had the worst luck with injuries recently. It's actually not recently. This is something that goes back many years. I don't know why, but I do know, talking with a buddy of mine, he trains athletes up in the Pacific Northwest, and he's really big on this thing called GOTA. And apparently there's a certain way that guys are running, walking, training that can contribute to injuries. So I have to get him on there to talk about that and see if we can kind of put up some videos and things to kind of give you guys some visuals on why some of these guys maybe are getting hurt. I know I saw where was it? I know I saw a super chat. I didn't get to the super chat. I'll try to find it, Joe. I know I didn't get to the super chat. I was going on my rant. But, yeah, man. But I appreciate everybody in here, man. I appreciate everybody in here. Oh, man, don't get me started on this. Should I address this, y'all, or not? D Jones, KB dropped too many passes. First of all, it's TOO. But should I address this, y'all, or not? I'm not going to address it. Oh, there's a super chat. Here we go. I appreciate that. Are you coming to Ohio for the Fantasy Expo? I've thought about it. Man, I don't know. Because I'm already planning on going to New York. I'm flying into New York for the Philadelphia. Any of y'all going to the Philadelphia game? I'm flying to New York for the Philadelphia game. I'm gonna be in New York probably Thursday and Friday. Catch a Yankee game with my brother, Angry Donald Kim. All right. But flying to New York. And then that Saturday, John Chapman. And I don't know if you guys follow 49ers Rush podcast, but John Chapman's having some events and stuff on that Saturday before the Philadelphia Eagle game. So I'm going to that. So I'll be at that. So I hope I can meet y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Kick it with my folks, people that support the channel. And, man, Devon, I appreciate the super chat. All right. Y'all got me going. So I'm going to do it. All right. Y'all done hype me up. I felt like y'all behind me like, do it. All right. So please address the KB comment. I'll say this about Kendrick Bourne and anybody and just in general with football, basketball, whatever. People see and hold on to things that they want to, if that makes sense. Like somebody might see something and then say that person always does that, when really it might not be as consistently as it seems. So when it comes to Kendrick Bourne, and people talk about Kendrick Bourne and drop passes and things like that, the issue with Kendrick Bourne is a lot of times when he has his drops, they come in spurts over a game, right? So in 2019, this is when everybody, Kendrick Bourne drops too many passes. Oh my God, he drops every key pass. That's what I hear all the time. No, that's not the case. Kendrick Bourne dropped 3 passes in 2019. But if you ask everybody, he dropped 10. If you ask 49er fans, man, he dropped every pass in every big moment. He dropped 3 passes. Now, here's the issue, and this is why they remember them so much. One, he dropped 1 against Pittsburgh Steelers. Y'all probably don't even remember, but I remember it. He was going over the middle, got little alligator arms, which is crazy for him because he's somebody that's kind of fearless going over the middle and stuff. But he got little alligator arms and he kind of short armed and he dropped the ball. That was against Pittsburgh. Y'all probably don't even remember that. And then he had 2 more drops. Can anybody guess what game those 2 drops are in? People remember the Seattle game. He had 2 drops in the Seattle game. One went off of his hands and ended up getting picked off by Diggs and ran back the other way. And then he had another drop in that game. He literally had 3 drops that whole year. And people look at that. They don't look at all the times he moved the chains, the clutch touchdowns. Man, you look at the damn he catches all the hard one. He doesn't catch the easy ones. He dropped 3 passes. He came up big against the Saints. 3, he got 2 touchdowns against the Saints, both on 3rd downs. He was a 3rd down machine. Bailed out Jimmy Garoppolo in the damn playoff game against the Vikings, right? Ball fluttering in the air down the sideline. He dived, catch it, give me that 3rd down, right? Oh, high over the middle and behind him, 3rd down, boom, catches it. So Kendrick Bourne really was solid at what he did. Was he a wide receiver 1? Nah, he wasn't that. Could he be? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But he wasn't. But I thought in his role and what they asked him to do for the most part, he was solid in his role. And I definitely think that you'd be better, 49ers receiver corps right now would be better with Kendrick Bourne than without him. Now, could they, pay all that money to him and stuff? Probably not. Hell, they got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo? Probably could. But yeah, man, like Kendrick Bourne was really good at what he did. So again, everybody knows this is the best. Now, let's talk about this year, right? Or 2020. I talked about 2019. They say he had hella drops. He had 3 drops. 2020, what game is it that everybody, and he had some drops, maybe 6 drops, right? Maybe 6 drops in 2020. So it was more than 2019. 4 of them came in one game. Like the 4. It was against what? It was the Washington or the Cardinals? Washington, I think it was. Terrible first half. He dropped like 4 passes in the first half and jumped off sides. He had a terrible game. Terrible first half. Maybe worst first half all year of anybody. Had like 4 drops and a false start. And that's what people remember. Like, so now it's like, because he had that bad first half, Kendrick Bourne always drops passes and he never catches any key moment. He always drops it when it matters most. And that is just not true. So I'm here to tell y'all not true. Again, 2019, he dropped passes in 2 games. 2 in 1 game against Seahawks. So for the other 15 games of the season, he dropped 1 pass. These are facts. Last year, he dropped like 6 passes. I'm not going to lie. But most of them came in that 1 game. Now, his catch to drop or his ratio or whatever it is, because he's not targeted a whole lot, his percentage might be higher. But again, the bulk of his drops in both seasons came in 1 game. So I'm going to get off Kendrick Bourne. I thought he was terrific for what he was. And y'all kind of got me worked up. It was like, y'all know that little thing, like the little toys where you kind of rev them up and then you let go and it starts going. That was me just now. That's what y'all did with me. But yeah, Kendrick Bourne was solid, man, and people going to miss him. See, okay, so targets to drops. But again, we can talk about targets to drops, but we also can talk about how the drops came in one game. So it wasn't like those, like, it was like, okay, 2 drops this game, 2 drops this game, 1 drop this game, 1 drop get, like, no, it was like 4 drops in one game and then 2 the rest of the year. And last year he had the best year of his career, his career, but again, had a terrible first half against, I think it was Washington. He dropped a lot of balls. Bourne's blocking was exemplary, got over his mistakes very quickly, his work ethic. Yeah. And he's somebody, I mean, he talk about, okay, y'all gonna get me going on a whole another thing. There are winners and there are losers in life, right? And there's like winning mindsets and losing mindsets. I think he's somebody that has like a winning mindset, and he bets on himself, for good or for worse. Like, he bets on himself, and I can appreciate somebody like that has that type of mindset to put that type of pressure on himself. He was a guy that was at Eastern Washington with Cooper Kupp and my guy Shaq Hill, and Bourne didn't have to come out. Like, he had another year of eligibility. He said, no, I'm coming out. He went undrafted. Like, all right, I'm going to make this team. And somehow he made the 49ers roster. Somehow Kendrick Bourne made the 49ers roster and had no special teams impact. And from being an undrafted guy, that does not happen. That don't happen. You typically don't see that. You typically don't see a guy make a roster just as a receiver with very little to no special teams value. So that was kind of a special little thing that he did that I looked at like, man, that was crazy. I know I wasn't good at special teams. I think that was probably one of the reasons why I was like, Croc, you got to get up out of here. Bourne is very replaceable. Bourne is very replaceable, but the tough thing about replacing Bourne is he was very consistent in his role, in his job, and he never missed a game, aside from COVID, one game. But he was very consistent. So, yeah, Bourne is in theory replaceable because he wasn't the most talented person, but he was good at his job. And sometimes it's hard to just find that. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to find that type of consistency. So, yeah, he's replaceable, but you got to have somebody that is going to put in the work that he does, whether it's on the field, in the meeting rooms, and bring that level of consistency that he had as a fourth target. Could Austin Watkins Jr. be the next KB, solid undrafted wide receiver 3? I think it's a little bit tougher because the 49ers offense is in a different space. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what I mean by that is Bourne came in 2017 when the 49ers were pretty much a clean slate, right? They were turning over an entire roster. They brought in some older guys with Pierre Garçon, Aldrick Robinson, and they were just kind of trying to make things work. So Bourne walked into an opportunity where it's probably a little bit easier to make the team. All right. Now, Austin Watkins has somewhat of a scenario like that because you got your 2 guys, right? You got Debo, you got Ayuk. And then you're looking for the next 4 guys. And you have a bunch of guys jockeying. So, yeah, he is in a position where, he can make this roster. Now, if Bourne starts to kind of pick it up, Jalen Hurd, and he's practicing today, we'll hear about how he does. If that happens, that's going to make it a little bit tougher. If Sanu continues to play well as a veteran, that's going to make it tougher. If Trent Sherfield continues to use every opportunity and make this roster, that's definitely going to make it tough. And you start kind of counting a guy like Watkins out and hope that, you can bring him back probably on practice squad. Now, he wasn't an undrafted guy, so we'll see. Seems like he's starting to make some plays or whatever. I've seen him in some of the highlights. I wish I was at training camp to really see how he was doing. Let's see. He said Bourne was the biggest loss. Did I say that? I'm not saying that Bourne was just like the biggest loss, but he was I think you'll miss him from the standpoint of understanding the consistency that he brought. So no, not a big loss, but just that level of consistency, is just, you knew what you were getting from him. And he was solid in his role. And that's tough. Sometimes that's tough to find. Still trying to answer y'all questions. Here we go. Good one. You might start putting in the super chats and make it a little easier to see these questions. But Croc, better hands, Kittle or Dwelly? Oh, I don't know because I haven't seen Dwelly targeted enough to truly understand what type of hands he has. Now, Kittle has progressed. He's someone who I have my natural reaction to kind of seeing or evaluation of George Kittle coming out was he was not a natural receiver or tight end, not a natural pass catching tight end. He was someone that was terrific blocker. Obviously, like they use him at Iowa like that a lot, with excellent skill set and ability from the standpoint of just his short shuttle, his 3-cone, like those things were like elite. I'm pretty sure if you look at his spider web or whatever, it's probably really good. At least the athletic part of it. Like his spider web is probably really good. So with him, he has really worked. And I really didn't feel like it truly kicked in, like just the pure receiver aspect of his game until like year 3 for George Kittle. I think year 1, obviously, he was trying to find his way. He had some drops. And that's when I was like, maybe he doesn't have like just a natural soft pass catching hands, right? Year 2, you could tell that they did an amazing job of scheming him open in space and being able to use his athleticism to really have an extremely productive season. Year 3 was when I started seeing him progress as a legit route running tight end, and you could tell that he really was working on his craft. And he's been working with a guy, I think, out there in Nashville, Tennessee, every offseason. That has definitely, you could tell that George Kittle has really put in the work to improve on his route running ability. So I think George Kittle has had to really work to get to where he's at now, as opposed to just being just this natural freak pass catcher and receiver and then have to work on other aspects of his game. But he's done a terrific job to become a better overall tight end. And I do think that because George Kittle is such a great blocker, the other aspects of his game are kind of overshadowed a little bit. People don't look at him as, oh, he's not a route runner. And it's like, no, he's a terrific route runner, a really good route runner. But he wasn't that coming into the NFL, and he has developed into that. So kudos to him. As far as Dwelly, I haven't seen him, in games and didn't pay enough attention to him in practice because a lot of times I watch the secondary and the receivers. But I didn't watch Dwelly enough to really see a large sample size of how legit and natural his hands are. So, okay, this was feel like KB was the biggest loss of the offseason. I have a controversial answer to this or rebuttal. I don't think KB was the biggest loss. I'm not going to talk about who I think the biggest loss was because y'all going to kill me on here. Here we go. Start to answer some of these questions. What happens if Jimmy looks bad and Trey looks good? Then they start Trey. They're looking for a reason to start Trey. Like, they don't want to have to start him if they don't have to, right? Like, I mean, Trey, like, he's your third string. He's your third overall pick. And you know the talent is there. And as long as it comes together, I'm pretty sure he'll be out there, especially if Jimmy isn't looking good. I think Jimmy has to look good to be able to hold it. I don't even think it can be, like, even. I think if it's even right away, like, yeah, but if you go out there and it's like, dude, you've been in the NFL for 7-8 years, you've been in the system for 4 years, and you're still looking average at that standpoint, especially if they're winning games, but you're looking average, you might see her get in there. Or if they're losing games, you'll definitely see her get in there. Because at some point, Hurd's got to get his experience. You guys take his lump. And I have a take. Obviously, the goal is to win a Super Bowl, right? You want to see your team win a Super Bowl. I don't know if I just have like this realistic mindset or what. And I'll never be the one to say that the 49ers can't win the Super Bowl. But the 49ers haven't won the Super Bowl since 1994. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been waiting hell of years. So my thing is, I'm looking at is I know with Trey Lance at his best, the 49ers have a higher chance to win the Super Bowl and not need everything to be perfect around them than they do with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he needs a little bit more things to go his way, be a little perfect and timing to be right and everything, guys to be healthy, and Jimmy will play terrific, and you can go to a Super Bowl and possibly win. I think you need a more ideal scenario, right? With Trey Lance, I don't think he needs that when he gets to who he's going to be. But how do we get him to be to who he's going to be, right? Like, how do we get him to that point? And I don't think it's going to be practice. I think he's going to need that in-game live action to really got some on my lips. He's going to need that in-game live actions to really get going and be the guy that you need him to be to lead the 49ers to a possible Super Bowl. So, just in theory, right? So, I would go with Trey Lance, even if that means that I don't 100% have a chance to win the Super Bowl, which you always have a chance. But even if you think in theory you have a better chance to win with Jimmy Garoppolo, it's like, dude, 49ers ain't won one since 1994. So give me Trey Lance, who I know eventually, if it's not this year, it's for sure next year, is going to have or take my team to a much higher ceiling. And I want to prepare Trey Lance for that. You know what I'm saying? I want to prepare Trey Lance for that moment to where it's like, no, we're hitting the ground running. And I know some of the veterans, got some guys getting older, but they're backing him. And they know he has a lot of talent. But at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking at. So not to say that I'm looking at the future, but I'm kind of looking at it in the sense of like, let's be a little real here. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real here. Let's talk about what's really going to get us going and get us to where we're extremely dangerous. And we saw with, let's use this as an example. And I heard the guy that nobody liked, Nick Wright, right? I heard Nick Wright talk about it. And he was saying if the Chiefs had played Patrick Mahomes, everybody talks about how Patrick Mahomes sat the whole year. You know what I'm saying? Everybody talk about how Mahomes sat the whole year and how that benefited him. And Nick Wright's like, well, did it benefit the team? Because everybody was saying that he was better than Alex Smith. Even that year, they were saying that he was better than him. Like in practice, they're like, dude, this dude, Mahomes is better than Alex Smith. And Alex Smith got them to the playoffs and boom, get up out of here. They went 10-6, had an average year, got bounced about the playoffs. Next year, they go to the AFC Championship and they're D4 offsides away from going to a Super Bowl, which would have, now you look at it, would have been 3 straight Super Bowls, right? So basically what he's saying is, in theory, Alex Smith gave you the better chance to win the Super Bowl, but really, do we know that for sure? No. And he thinks maybe they would have been better off playing Patrick Mahomes that year. He was lighting it up in practice. He was playing extremely well. So he just didn't get the opportunity again because they went with the safer, or you know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, forget all that. Forget all that. You got this dude, he balling, you got a young stud, man. Get that dude in here now. So Trey Lance, if it starts to look remotely close, get him in there and let him get that experience. I know everybody's Super Bowl. Oh, I get it. But 49ers ain't won a Super Bowl since 1994. So let's give us the best chance to win the Super Bowl and get this young dude that's the most talented player on our offense potentially at the most important position. Let's get him ready to go. So that's my take on who I would, what happens if Jimmy is bad and all that type of stuff. Witherspoon was the biggest loss. That's what I think. I think Spoon was the biggest loss. I get it. Inconsistent. I know. Maybe he just needed a hug, man. He needed somebody to put their arm around him. Give him a hug a little bit. Show him a little bit of love, man. He seemed a little soft just a little bit. I don't know. But he seemed like he needed that. And it felt like they didn't really back him. I tell you what, though. Don't let that strong jaw, gum-chewing Pete Carroll start to instill some legit confidence in Ahkello Witherspoon. Don't let Pete Carroll get to him. Because it might be, and I hear everybody. I hear the 49 fans. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, they're going to cook Witherspoon. They're going to cook him. All right. We're going to see. Because I talked about it with Kendrick Bourne and his drops, right? Where we kind of remember the things that we want to remember. Y'all remember when maybe Spoon had an up and down game, but y'all don't remember, like, he would string together 5, 6, 7 games of playing great football at the cornerback position. Then he'd have a stinker. He might have another one because of confidence. Then he might get back on the roll again or have an injury or whatever the case is. But if the 49ers catch him in that 5-game window where he's on fire, shit. Don't catch Spoon in that window. I'm telling y'all now. He's going to have some stinkers. You just got to hope that he has the bad game against you. And he's going to be turned up. He is going to be turned. I know he is. I know he's gonna be turned. So you gotta hope. You gotta hope that those. Let me see, Jimmy Akello, All Pro Cornerback Watch Week 4, Week 5. You gotta hope that Spoon doesn't have that up game, which he has a string of them. He'll go on a string of 4 or 5 games where he's playing lights out. Don't let that be in the window where the 49ers play him, because he's gonna make things tough for Debo and IU. And that's just facts. That's facts. And Pete Carroll, for whatever reason, I don't know what little voodoo he does or whatever, but he gets guys turned up. We saw how was Seattle, and maybe it's Jimmy, maybe because Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't healthy, but how was Seattle able to play with their defense, play at the level that they did against the 49ers last year? Going into the season, they were what their worst defense, worst secondary. Everybody talk about how the 49ers are going to do this, that, and the other, and bombs away on them in the shoes. Shit, they said, oh, 49ers, yeah, we'll see. We on y'all. Who got the pick in the first quarter? Who picked off Jimmy Garoppolo in the first quarter? Who picked him? Who? That's a trivia question for y'all. DJ Reed. That's who. DJ Reed went over to Seattle and said, yeah, I got my swagger back. Oh, he said, I got my swagger back. Was it second drive or whatever it was? Oh, Jimmy, give me that. Need that money. I can only imagine how it felt. Matter of fact, I know how it felt, because if you kind of go back in my videos, I had an interview with DJ Reed, and we kind of talked about it. And we talked about the difference between Pete Carroll and Kyle Shanahan and those things. It was pretty good. I had him for about 30 minutes. It was pretty good. But anyways, Spoon couldn't play against Miami, and then all of a sudden he could. All right. Are we going to be real? So are we going to be real? Or y'all want me to, should I say the truth of what really happened? I got some inside information on this. I ain't going to do it. I'm going to do it. I ain't going to do it. Just know that's not exactly how it happened. Here we go. I'm trying to read y'all comments, man. We got 170 y'all in here. I appreciate it. I know my Wi-Fi dipped right now. Should be back up in a second. But appreciate everybody in there. If you haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Make sure you guys hit that like button right now. Also, Underdog Fantasy. Download the Underdog Fantasy app. If you are somebody that loves to play fantasy football, they got all kind of challenges. They got best ball formats. They got all kind of cool stuff. If you love fantasy football, basketball, baseball, all that good stuff, download Underdog Fantasy app right now. When you deposit $10 and use the promo code CROCKY, they throw an additional $25 into your account. So again, if you like fantasy football, basketball, baseball, all that good stuff, and then gotta get into the prop bets that they got. They got prop bets. They got pick'ems. Who's gonna do better this game? You can put money on there. You can parlay it. All type of stuff, man. You trying to make some money? Download Underdog Fantasy right now. Right? Download the app. Promo code Crocky. That's gonna get you an additional $25 into your account, man. Stop playing. Okay, y'all. You know what? Y'all did it again. Y'all wound me up. Okay, so we're gonna talk about it, man. We're gonna talk about it. So this is what happened. Witherspoon could play. Witherspoon knew he could play. Witherspoon was in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse. That's what it was. And Kyle would rather and told them, no, play Brian Allen and let him get bombed on and let him, whatever. And Spoon was ready to go. I got the messages. Spoon's ready to go. Spoon's willing to play. Kyle was like, nah, you're not playing. He was in the doghouse. And we know how Kyle's doghouse can get. And we know Kyle can be kind of stubborn. And that's probably part of it what makes him great. And part of it might be some of his downfall. But we know he could be a little stubborn. All right. So Kyle, that was on Kyle. All right. So they wanted to play him. Spoon wanted to play. Spoon wanted to be here. That's what happened. Boom. Keep up the great work, man. What's up, cousin Kenny? I see you. That's my cousin right there, y'all. That's my cousin right there. Appreciate the contribution. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Who's this calling me? All right, I appreciate everybody that's in here. We got another contribution. Let's go. Love the show. I just come on here. I just want to talk. And I mean, shoot, I'm in here for an hour. I really expect to be in here for what, 10, 15 minutes, talk about Hurd, talk about Tartt. If you haven't already, obviously this gets saved immediately to YouTube and you can go back and watch it. Talked about those guys. And really I gave kind of, I don't want to say in-depth analysis, but, I kind of gave a little background story on both guys and what I liked about those guys and stuff. And, it's just unfortunate, but I think those guys, like I talked about Witherspoon against the Dolphins being in Kyle's doghouse, I think they might be heading towards Kyle's doghouse too. And it's hard to get in. It's hard to get out that doghouse. We see guys get in that doghouse. We've seen not just Spoon, but Dante Pettis. Oh my gosh, he was deep in there. It's like, bro, we don't even want you out here. Like, get up out of here, man. We're just gonna cut you. They cut his ass. They cut him. That's crazy. He said, we need the truth. Yeah, man. Why was Spoon in the doghouse? All right, story time. Okay. It's story time. Now, his situation might be a little different than mine. But sometimes these things kind of happen. All right. And sometimes maybe there's like miscommunication. All right. But story time with Croc time. All right. So my senior year in college, University of Arkansas, Monticello. Got my helmet right here. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? University of Arkansas, Monticello. My senior year in college. And team captain, everything. At some point, the coaches felt some type of way, but this was never told to me. All right. Well, it wasn't until it exploded. All right. I guess they didn't like the way that I was practicing or carrying myself or whatever the case was. Again, I didn't know. And maybe I was, not going all out in practice. Maybe I wasn't carrying myself or setting the example that I should for the younger dudes that looked up to me. Right. But I didn't know. So we played 2 games. We're doing well. I'm balling. I ain't giving up no catches or whatever. Week 3, and we're 2-0. Week 3, we lose. And I didn't play like terrible or anything like that. I remember giving up a screen and, a screen play went for like 15 yards, maybe gave up one other catch. Nothing crazy. But I come into the meeting room and I look at, just look at the door. I'm looking at the production chart to see what my numbers were for the game. But next to the production chart, there's also a depth chart. Backup? What? Why they got me on backup? So I don't know anything. All right. I don't know what's going on. I don't know nothing. All right. So I sit down and we're in the meeting room. And the defensive coordinator, he's pointing out some stuff or whatever. And I can see them kind of, feel a certain way about me, whatever the case is. So he's kind of circling me like, look at this. And I'm just like, and I feel some type of way because I see I'm backup and I don't understand it, right? So I'm like, well, coach, what would you want me to do better right there? And he's like, if you don't know what you're supposed to do better, you're just a sorry case for a football player. Something like that, right? So I was like, well, I guess I'm sorry then. And then another coach was like, man, shut up, Croc. Shut up. I'm like, man, you shut up. Like, you can see me outside. So I walked outside. Man, bring your fat ass outside. He didn't come outside. All right. So this is a big blow up. I'm like, man, I'm out of here. I'm going back to California. Like, F y'all. So head coach calls me and he's like, Croc, like, what happened? Like, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, I don't know what happened. But I know I get in here and there's like just this tension or whatever the case is. They got me a backup. I don't understand any of this stuff. So he's like, man, just go in there and talk to coach the next morning. So I went in there and talked to coach. And I talked to him and he's like, man, like, we haven't liked the way that you've been practicing and carrying yourself and all that. And my thing is, if you felt that way, why not come and tell me? Why not tell me? But I had got into a doghouse. I'm bringing it full circle. I got into a doghouse and I ain't even know nothing about it until it blew up. So I had to work my way back in. Guy got hurt ankle. I was in the next game. By second quarter, I was there, and I ended up being all conference and everything. But I didn't know. Like, I didn't know. How am I supposed to know? You don't tell me. Now, I'm pretty sure Kyle Shanahan tells his guys because he's very upfront, right? So Spoon knew why. Now, whether Spoon couldn't get out of his own way or if he couldn't fight out of it or whatever the case is, maybe they didn't like the way he was practicing. Maybe they didn't like the way he was carrying himself. Maybe he was banged up. Maybe they didn't like the way he was rehabbing. I don't know. I can ask somebody, but I don't know. But there are various reasons why you can end up in somebody's doghouse, and it seems like Kyle Shanahan's doghouse is one that's extremely difficult to get out of. Yeah, it could be really tough. All right, so let's get to. I got a super chat. Here we go. Coach Timo, you always break it down. Good, Eric. Man, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the contribution. Let's go. Hey, y'all on fire with the contribution. I got going for an hour every time y'all come with the contributions. Y'all got me. Y'all got me. I appreciate it, man. I just try, keep it a buck. Feel me? Kyle act like a girl. I think he can. I don't want to say acts like a girl. I think Kyle, he's just a little stubborn. And to be honest, some people are like that. Now, I was around the only NFL coach I was really, my time in the NFL, I was around Rex Ryan, and Rex was different. He was different than that. I got some stories. We're gonna save some Rex Ryan stories for another chat. But we just signed Clinton Dix. Cool. Now here's my thing, because sometimes, okay, and that's awesome. 49ers signed Clinton Dix. Sometimes the name carries more weight than the actual player. So we have somebody like Clinton Dix who, a few years ago, he signed a good contract with Washington, right? Signed a decent contract. The Packers are like, no, we're not bringing you back. Sign a contract with Washington. Then all of a sudden he's on the Bears. Then he's on the Cowboys. Cowboys cut him. I don't even think he played last year. So how good is Clinton Dix? I think if you listen to Kyle Shanahan, it was like, man, we just got to get somebody in here. We got to get somebody in here right now. Like we're low. You got Jefferson. He's having a groin injury. So, I mean, we'll see what Clinton Dix actually does. We'll see how much value, he has to the team. Obviously, like just being a veteran, kind of being able to come in and hit the ground running and kind of understanding what to expect. I think he'll be good from that aspect. He understands the NFL and kind of the politics of it. So he knows probably a slim chance that he makes it. But you want to give yourself every opportunity. Who knows? Maybe Jefferson's going to be down for the long haul. Can you take advantage of the opportunity? We know Trent Sherfield is. 49ers just released. Who they just released? They just released a receiver, right? Who they just waive? You guys, so much stuff goes through my head all the time. So 49ers just waived somebody. But anyways, I looked at that wave player, and my immediate thought was Trent Sherfield. Like if he wasn't on his A game, like that could have been him. But Trent's kind of carving out his own little role. I think Trent Sherfield, I'm not just saying that because he's been making plays and stuff, and it's like at the end of the day, it's just training camp. Like you got to do it in the games, and they got to figure out what the value is for you heading, into that 53-man roster, who they're going to keep, who they're not going to keep, right? But 25 years old, 6'1", 220, making plays all over the field, intermediate, short, intermediate, deep, crossers, slants, go routes, contested catches. He's doing it all. And the crazy thing is, that's not even what he hangs his hat on. He hangs his hat on being a terrific special teamer. So that's how you're going to make a roster. And with Clinton Dix, he's going to have to do something. He's going to have to take advantage of opportunity, just like Trent Sherfield is. Here we go. I appreciate all y'all, man. I appreciate the love. Yeah, okay, that's who it was. So Kevin White was released. Kevin White didn't take advantage of whatever opportunity. Do you think that Kevin White started off higher? Do you think Trent Sherfield started off higher on the depth chart than Kevin White? No. Kevin White was there all last year. All preseason, all season, played some games, didn't take advantage of that. They put him back there for kickoff returns, didn't take advantage of that. On and off a practice squad, comes in this year. Like Trent Sherfield just got here. You got to take advantage of the opportunity, especially when you're the veteran. So, trust me, I know what it's like. I know what it's like. This is a little extreme. Definitely not the biggest bust in the NFL. Not when there's guys like Jamarcus Russell, like out there, like ain't no way. But yeah, it is crazy. No, but yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that Kevin White was a top 10 pick because he's 6'3", 200 something pounds, and was a freak athlete. And a lot of coaches are going to see the athleticism and feel like they can mold it. Now, this is the thing. You got to know who the person is. And that's why, this is the reason why people are bust. It's not a talent issue. It's not a lack of talent. Or it's not like, oh, I got too much talent, right? It's what type of work are you going to put in the off season? What type of work are you going to put in, when people aren't looking? How are you going to be prepared mentally? Like, that's why guys end up bust, because they're not doing those things. If they get caught up in other stuff. You got Ryan Leaf here. Like, if say Trey Lance. If Trey Lance wasn't, you can have all the physical tools, and he has them, but that's not what makes Trey Lance great. And y'all, you know what? We got over 200 people in here. I'm gonna find my tweet because I said something before the draft about who I would draft, at quarterback. And there's a reason why I said this. All right, so give me some time because I'm gonna look it up right now. Eric Crocker, and boom. All right, here's the tweet. Okay, so now this is pre-draft. Screen share. Hold on. This is pre-draft. This is what I said, and I'm gonna elaborate on this because you know what I'm saying. Boom. All right, can y'all read this? Can y'all read what that says right there? It says, and this is pre-draft, nobody is a sure thing. And really, if I had to put my life savings on one player, it would be Lance. And that's over any QB in this class. I said that pre-draft. Like, that's not me saying, hyping up Trey Lance right now or anything like that. And I said that's over any quarterback in this class. I would take Trey Lance. Now, let me say why. All right, stop the screen share. Let me talk about why. All right, because one, okay, the physical tools, great. And I like the physical tools, the big arm, throwing the ball all over, the athleticism, all that stuff. But when you start to find that the person with that work ethic and the mindset and the smarts and the intelligence and just that nonstop, like just wanting to get better and improve it, and you're hearing this and you're hearing it, and you hear about the kid he is and the person he is. I talked to some people from out there that cover the Bisons, North Dakota State, and they're telling me about him, and I'm hearing all these things, and it's like, man, forget his deficiencies. I'm hearing all these other things. He's going to overcome those things. He's going to overcome those things because of the person that he is, and he cares and he wants it. And it's hard to find people like that, I'm telling you, because there's a lot of dudes you can be as talented as you want. How do they pass on a guy like Justin Fields? Who? Justin Fields, I thought that was QB1 in this class for me. Justin Fields 1, Trevor Lawrence 2, and Trey Lance 3. But I was willing to bet the house that it would be Trey Lance that's the most successful because I just feel like there's something about him. Maybe the other guys have it too, but I saw the story on the quarterback Trevor Lawrence about not caring if he don't win a Super Bowl and all this. Like, all right, I mean, he could be as talented as he won, this number one guy the whole time, but I don't want him. All right, and then you got Justin Fields, who I think is the most talented guy in this class. And when I mean most talented guy in this class, like what, especially between the two, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, like what can Trevor Lawrence do that Justin Fields can't? Right? Who got the big arm? Lance. Who's more accurate? Lance. Who's more athletic? Lance. Like, it was like, what do we talk? Like, how is there not a conversation about this? But anyways, that's beside the point. The point is, I said that I would bet my life savings on Trey Lance being successful because of the person that he is. And that's why, so you look at a guy like Kevin White and why he possibly ended up being a bust. And a lot of it sometimes has to do with just the person that they are and not really putting in that work ethic to take you over the top. You can have all the athletic ability ever, but if you don't care, then it's not going to amount to anything. I feel like Trey Lance cares. Trey Lance cares. Trey Lance going to care. I mean, watch y'all see what he does with the 49ers, man. Your boy Rombo thinks Trey Lance ain't still a crock. Rombo, you know, he loves Jimmy G. So I think he's speaking more from like his heart than his mind. We'll say that. And with me, I try not to speak from my heart. I try not to, and I feel like, you know, we got 240 people in here right now. Make sure you guys hit like, make sure you guys hit subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now if you're not already subscribed. But I feel like people really mess with me because like they know Croc gonna really tell how it is. Now sometimes I turn into fan, and maybe especially if you catch me live, and we're gonna watch the game live together Saturday. Saturday, I'm gonna be live the whole time watching the 49er game. And after on this channel, I'm gonna have my guys from 49 365. They're gonna be going live on this YouTube channel. All right, so for the after show. All right, and it's just gonna be them. I won't be on that, but I will be live with y'all during the game. But anyways, I try not to speak from like my heart. I try to speak from my mind, like what makes sense, like why this happened, and then that's how I try to give it to y'all the best way I can. Pause. All right, and sometimes people they start to think with their heart, and I think that's when your takes start to get a little weird. You know what I'm saying? Start to get a little weird, and I feel like people can feel that. When you start getting weird with your takes and stuff, people can feel that. And I'm like, that ain't gonna be me. Yeah, man, hit that like button right now because I got 230 of y'all in here, so I better have 230 likes. Show. It don't take no time to hit that like button. Let's see. Yeah, man, we having a watch party, baby, on this channel. We'll be live the whole time. I saw a question about, is the game on national TV? No, it's not nationally televised. It's not. All right, let's see. Croc, are you speaking based on athletic ability? Lance only has. All right, so here's the thing. Okay, let's talk about it. I didn't want this to turn into a Trey Lance thing because, you know, we was talking about Jalen Hurd and Jaquiski Tartt, but now y'all done got me for an hour and a half down there. So we're going to talk about it. All right. People look at, 17 games, didn't throw the ball a whole lot. But as a scout, which I'm not a scout, but, you know, somebody that evaluates talent at any level, it's not the games like that. Like, that's not going to say what this guy is going to be, right? It is, a lot of it has to do with what type of ability they have, and then where are they mentally, and like, are they willing to put in the work and all that. So when you look at Trey Lance, there's no throw he can't make on the field. There's no throw. He has a big arm. He's athletic, and all those things matter. Then you look at the offense that he was in. They put a lot on his shoulders, right? We're talking about somebody that's getting to the line of scrimmage, calling out line adjustment. And I have a video on here. You're gonna have to kind of go back because before the draft. But I talked about how Trey Lance, regardless of the 17 games, was the most pro-ready quarterback. You know, the crazy thing is he has 17 starts, and they say he needs time and he needs this and he needs that. But Mac Jones has 17 starts, and he's the most pro-ready quarterback. How? How does that work? How does that work? Real quick, I'm going to get back to this, but I do have a super chat. Porn star Jimmy, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, porn star Jimmy. But, dang, I lost the question now. Oh, right here. All right, so, I mean, we could look at the 17 games or whatever, or the 20 games that Justin Fields, I mean, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's what type of ability do you have? Do you have the arm? Do you have the accuracy? Do you have these things? Then what can you improve? What can't you improve? I'd have to look at that, right? Oh, man, this is going to be a little bit more difficult to improve on, right? A lot of times I talk about with cornerbacks. You got these long corners, and if they have kind of sluggish feet and their movement skills are a little long, that's hard to improve on. Anticipation, zone defense, I can improve on that. Zone eyes, I can improve on that. Athleticism, you know, you got CJ Henderson, 6'1", 205, run 4 threes. Like, you can't really teach that. I can teach them how to play zone, have some zone drops in college. I can teach that. I can teach that. I can't really teach like that God-given ability. Jimmy Garoppolo, you know, he understands the offense well, gets the ball out of his hands. Efficient on third downs. I can teach that if you have the capacity to do that. I can't teach 6'4", 230, runs in 4.5, big arm, can throw the ball outside the numbers here, outside the number there, and stretch the ball vertically and take off for a 60-yard touchdown. I can't teach that. You got that or you don't. So that's, yeah, you look at that. I mean, okay, Now, here's another example, real quick for you, Bill. All right, Bill, I appreciate the comment. I know I just went blurry a little bit. It'll come back, but Bill, I appreciate the comment. All right, but here's another example. Let's talk about Cam Newton. All right, Cam Newton, just from that aspect of, at the Division I level, right? I mean, because we all look at Cam Newton and it's like, okay, it came from Auburn and stuff, but he only started that 1 year. He didn't really play as a freshman at Florida. Then in sophomore year, he played at Blinn Junior College. Then he played at Auburn and Dip, won the Heisman and everything, right? So you look at Cam Newton, won Heisman, right? So player of the year in Division I FBS level, right? He only threw the ball like 20 times a game. He didn't really throw the ball. I don't even think Cam Newton threw the ball over 25 times in a game. Right? So he ain't throwing the ball around. Matter of fact, I think he threw the ball total when you count his freshman year, which I guess he threw the ball a few times at Florida behind Tim Tebow. And then you look at that year with Auburn, he threw the ball like 5 more times total than Trey Lance, right? 5 more times, maybe. And they started about the same amount of times, games, if Trey Lance did start more. All right. Now, how does Cam Newton, with limited throwing, or throwing the ball and all that, and limited starts and everything, come into the NFL and throw for over 800 yards in his first 2 starts, over 4,000 yards in his first season? 49ers haven't had a 4,000-yard passer since Jeff Garcia, maybe 2002 or something. But how does a guy like Cam Newton come and do that his rookie year after being a guy who didn't throw the ball a whole lot in college? So that's always, you got guys pointing things out like that, and it's like, bro, that don't got nothing to do with nothing. What type of ability does he have? Does he have the ability to throw the ball more? Can he throw the ball more? Can he improve on it? Cam Newton had all the ability in the world. Was he working? Was Cam Newton really working on here, or was he relying a little bit too much on his throwing, his natural abilities? That's when you get in trouble. Even Trey Lance can get in trouble. If Trey Lance starts to rely a little too much on his God-given abilities and not on the mind part of it, to where he's reading things and working on those things and working on the technique. Cam Newton, years into his career, was stepping all the way left but throwing right. I heard Tom Brady say, step 2, follow through. Cam Newton not doing that, but he's able to get away with it sometimes because he's so physically gifted. But then that's why you see the inconsistencies with him as a passer. So can Trey Lance get to a point where he's not relying on his God-given ability, and then he becomes a more efficient passer with all the God-given ability, and he's seeing the field better, and then you turn into a Josh Allen who had to, work his will. Okay, not that efficient. Boom, MVP candidate. So I went on a tangent, but thank you, Bill, for the comment. Thank you. I appreciate it. Cam started to go downward after the Super Bowl against Denver. He hasn't been the same since. Cam body got beat up the way that they continued to play him. But I think a lot of it was they had to keep playing him that way because he just did not progress as a pure passer. That's on him. That's on Cam. Should there be any concerns with Lenoir's early struggles in camp? I would say only if you expect big things out of him, then maybe. But to me, okay, 5th round pick, it's always, we'll see. Once you get past the 3rd round, once you get day 3, it's just like, okay, we'll see. So I kind of take that outlook on it. See if he continues to get better. You know what I'm saying? Improve. Maybe he is what he is. I'd say Embry Thomas, it sounds like he's been improving. So it sounds like Embry Thomas, a little rough starting off. Sounds like now he's starting to, get a little bit better. I think we need one big wide receiver and we are set. I'd say, so if you guys don't already, make sure you guys listen to Locked On 49ers. All right, we got over 200 y'all in here. I appreciate all y'all in here. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Make sure y'all hit the like button right now. All right, now. Oh, my bad. I had to check something. I was like, oh, no, did I not put the money thing on? All right, but Man, I lost my train of thought. Oh, big wide receiver. So on Locked On 49ers, I talked about a potential trade that I thought the 49ers should look into. And that trade was, and you guys let me know if you guys would do this. Would you guys trade Kevin Givens for Mims, Denzel Mims? Would you guys trade Kevin Givens for Denzel Mims? I'll say this. A lot of times if you want to trade for a player, it's going to be a player that you might like to get something like Mims. Now, you talked about that big receiver, and he's 6'3" guy. He ran in the 4.3s. My thought process is that Mims brings an element to the offense that the 49ers currently don't have. They don't have a 6'3" field stretcher. They just don't have that. Now, in the interior, 49ers have a wealth of depth inside on the interior defensive line. Because one, you got Kinlaw you just drafted. You got DJ Jones. You got Armstead who lines up in there. You got Mo Hurst, right? Like, you have depth at that position. You got Contavious Street. You got depth at that position. So, yeah, you got Givens, and he's solid football player. I like him. But if I can get, trade him player for player for a guy like Mims that brings a different element, because we know what Ayuk is, all around terrific player. He can stretch the field a little bit, right? Stretch the field, but he works, all levels of the field. You got Debo, does what he does. Who's a 6'3" stretcher that, I can just say, you know what, Trey Lance, just throw it deep. Just throw it deep. 49ers don't really have that guy. Even if you're not going to utilize him a whole lot, hey, can we get 35 catches out of him for about 450 yards, 2 touchdowns because they're vertical shots, and we're stretching defenses out? Who scares the 49ers or defenses vertically like that for the 49ers? So I just look at it from that standpoint of, I like Givens, but when I give up Givens to get a guy like Mims who brings a different element to what the 49ers currently have, yeah, I would. Let's see. All right. Well, I've been on here for a long time, y'all, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button right now. If you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button right now. We've had over 200 people consistently in here. I appreciate all the questions that you guys have had. I appreciate all the contributions, the super chat, all that good stuff, man. You guys have been awesome today. Again, if you haven't already, download Underdog Fantasy app. I promise you won't regret. $10, deposit $10. Use promo code Crocky. Promo code Crocky right now. They're going to put you an additional $25 into your account. You know what I'm saying? They got the pick'ems, they got the prop bets, they got the fantasy sports and football, basketball, baseball, all the stuff you want. It's an amazing app. So make sure you guys download that. All right, but until next time, I appreciate y'all. We're going to get in here, man. We got to hop on here. If y'all tune in like this at noon all the time, we might have to make this a daily thing. I don't know. We'll see. But until next time, man, I'll see y'all. I'm out. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
CrockTalk TV podcast. Peace.